Am I the asshole? I told my father-in-law that his wife, my mother-in-law, keeps asking us for money. My 33F and my husband Mateo, 31M, have been married for 4 months, together for 3 years. When we were dating, his mom used to randomly call him up and ask for money, anywhere from $2,000 to $6,000. He told me that she had been doing it for years, but he didn't care because he had a high-paying job and had the disposable income to give her money. My FIL is a successful businessman in his city, and I was told that they had joint accounts, so I always found it a bit odd that she asked her son for money. When we got engaged, we discussed his mom's monetary requests, and my husband agreed he would put an end to it, and he did. She stopped calling after he refused to give her money. Last Tuesday, my MIL called and asked my husband for $15,000. She said she needed it for vacation. After he told her no, she sent me a lengthy text message saying that I had no right to get involved in a mother's relationship with her son. I didn't respond. I asked my husband if his parents were having money troubles, and he said that everything is fine as far as he knows. Well, today my FIL and SIL, husband's younger sister, came over for lunch. My FIL was helping us choose a bottle of wine when I asked him if everything is okay at home. He looked at me confused and asked what I was talking about. That's when my husband told him about her calling us for money. It turns out that my MIL has been secretly asking my husband for money in cash. My FIL told us that she was withdrawing cash from the bank last year and told him it was to help pay for our wedding, but she lied. She never gave us a dime. My FIL left immediately, and hours later, my MIL called crying saying that I have a big mouth and ruined her life. My FIL wrote us a check to pay us back and is temporarily separated from my MIL until he feels he can trust her again. My husband's maternal relatives are calling us and saying that I'm a giant Am I the asshole for bringing it up to my FIL that my MIL is secretly harassing us for money? ETA, we were told tonight that she was using the money to buy lavish gifts for her friends and pay their rent. And now, on to the next story, story 2. Am I the asshole for telling my brother's fiancée the truth about our family? I, 21F, have an older brother, 29M, who has been divorced twice and is about to get married to his fiancée of 2 years, 26F, and she a party celebrating the fact that she got engaged a few days ago. I was invited, but my brother wasn't, since she wanted to have a little party with her friends and since she wanted to bond with me, her future sister-in-law. She also invited me. So I started chatting with her and her friends, and later in the night we started to get a little tipsy. Suddenly she started to talk about my brother, stating that she couldn't believe that he never got married before since he is such a handsome man. But it didn't make sense that she said that, since he was divorced twice, and one of his former wives had a child with him. She started to talk about him saying things that wasn't true, like the fact that he was a lawyer, he worked at a hotel as a janitor, and that he was making $150K a year when he was making minimum wage. At this point I was shocked because of how all the things she was talking about was untrue, so I asked who told her this, and she said it was my brother. I was confused as of why he said that, but I knew that before in his previous marriages that he had verbally abused his wives, so I knew either way I could not let this slide. I brought her to the bathroom upstairs and told her everything, I mean everything. She looked shocked, and after I finished telling her, she went downstairs, got her stuff, and said she felt sick and left. The next day comes around and my phone was blown up with messages, missed calls, and DMs from my family and brother about what happened. It turns out that after she left she went to her house, where my brother was at the time, confronted him and broke up with my brother, then kicked him out. My family and brother is calling me an insensitive bitch and a home wrecker. I don't feel bad about telling her the truth, but I do feel bad about ruining his engagement. Am I the asshole? And now, on to the next story, story 3. Am I the asshole for ruining my sister's wedding? I, 24F, was with my ex-fiancé, M, 27, since I was 13 and he was 15. He was my first love, my first everything. We got engaged when I was 20 and about 6 months after we found out we were expecting. Unfortunately, I miscarried a couple days later. That was the worst moment of our lives. We always dreamed about starting a family early, so this was a major blow to us individually and to our relationship. I fell into deep depression, and I admit I was wrong for only caring for the lost I felt and not my partner's. We argued a lot, he partially blamed me, and I accused him of not knowing how it felt to lose a life you were growing inside you. We were hurting each other and decided to separate for a while. That while turned into a year. We still kept in contact. I went to therapy and worked on healing myself. He even came to a few sessions with me. We decided to get back together shortly after my 23rd birthday. However, the relationship wasn't the same. He was somewhat withdrawn from me, and I thought it was because he still blamed me. I was sick, overthinking and worrying. It got to the point where I was going backwards in my process, so I decided to snoop through his phone. I found out during the year we separated he had been confiding in my sister, 27, and it turned to something intimate. He cut it off when we got back together, but the damage was done. She was pregnant. Turns out my parents knew about this, and some of our friends. I kicked him out and cut off everybody who knew. Well, a couple weeks ago I got an invite to the wedding. Something snapped inside of me. I got drunk and I took a cab to my parents' house, where they were throwing a party for them. Most of my family was there. I basically showed up and gave a whole fuck you speech to everybody. My sister ran upstairs in tears, and my parents called me in a hole for ruining the prospect of their wedding. I said good because nobody apologized to me. Everybody just kept saying we were separated. Things happen, people fall in love. I should be happy for them. The heart wants what I wants. The worst part is my sister told me maybe my baby died for a reason so she could get her happy ending. I'm regretting getting drunk now, because I'm not a confrontation person, but I was so upset. Am I the asshole?